Hi, my name is Karen Messenger. I am a graduate student at the University of Texas at Arlington College of Nursing. I am doing a book review, Walk the Walk, the number one rule for real leaders, and partial fulfillment of leadership in complex health systems. The author of this book is Alan Deutschman. He's been a journalist for 27 years. He's been the correspondent of Fortune, a senior writer at Fast Magazine, the Profit Motive, columnist for GQ, and a contributing editor of Vanity Fair and New York Magazine. Since 2011, he has been a professor of journalism at the University of Nevada. He is also the author of 5 books on change and leadership that have since been translated into 8 languages. The purpose of this book, of Walk the Walk, is to explain to those aspiring to be leaders or understand leadership and what it is and what it takes to be a leader, as well as the steps to becoming a good leader. Deutschman's main audience with Walk the Walk is aspiring leaders or those that want to understand leadership. The purpose of the book uses examples of effective leadership skills, and as Mr. Deutschman states, walking the walk, not talking the talk. He uses many examples of how leaders walk the walk, such as Martin Luther King Jr. when he stood by his conviction of nonviolence after being attacked by Roy James, and those that talk the talk, such as Al Gore when he spoke of global warming and then did not follow through with sharing what he felt should be done by everyone. He wanted everyone to change the way that they were living to decrease the global warming, yet he wanted to continue living in his big home. Then you had leaders that were like Hewlett and Packard. When we had the recession, they went to a 9-day work week and took pay cuts. Not only did their employees do that, but they did as well, so that they didn't have to lay anyone off. The strengths of the book were that they showed examples of leaders that actually walked the walk and how they're shining examples of walking that walk, like Martin Luther King, and many different leaders. He shows multiple examples in the book, and examples of those that talk the talk but don't walk the walk, and what they did wrong as a leader. Global warming, such as Arnold Schwarzenegger talked about global warming in California and reducing the emissions, yet he had a fleet of 5 Hummers and made changes on those so that he could look like he was decreasing the emissions, but those were things that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars that the ordinary American person couldn't do. It shows what being a good leader means and what the steps of being a good leader takes. The weaknesses, the weakness that I felt were that the examples of becoming an effective leader of business and government and different types of leadership techniques are used, but they tend to be repeated skills, just worded differently. The weaknesses and the strengths are there. They just don't, there's not a lot of change to them. Throughout the book, Deutschman does prove that the steps to becoming an effective leader do have certain characteristics that one needs in order to become an effective leader that others will follow and look up to. Though each example of an effective leader, it shows not the leadership skill, but the characteristics of the leader. that helped them become successful, such as Martin Luther King. It wasn't his charisma, not his beautiful speaking skills. It was his proof that he was going to stand by his #1 rule of nonviolence. Would I recommend this book? I would recommend it because it does give inspiring conglomeration of successful leaders and what they did to become successful leaders. It also shows what unsuccessful leaders did and how to avoid the pitfalls of being the unsuccessful leader. I would suggest this book to anyone that has an aspiration to become a leader, a manager, or anyone that just wants to improve themselves, not even with the thought of becoming a leader. The book was inspiring just on becoming a better person. If you look at Mr. Kroc from McDonald's, he inspired many people to just become a better person. He would pull up to McDonald's and get out and pick up the parking lot if there was, trash in the parking lot. And it inspired others in the industry to do the same thing when they had their businesses open. It also inspired his employees to do the same thing.